Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I was not going to do this video, and then I looked back and realized, oh, I have to do this video. Okay, so what is this video about? 6 months. I have had this device for 6 months. This is the Nook Glowlight for in the ocean teal. So I think it was 7 months ago or 8 months ago, one of the two, they released their Glowlight 4 in a brand new color, which is ocean teal. People were like, oh my god, this is so awesome. And after using this for 6 months, I am ready to do a half-year review of this device. So a lot of people, when they talk about e-reading devices, they generally talk only about the Kindle and the Kobo. Those are the only two. There's no other devices out there. And that's the impression you get from these videos. It's like, oh, there's no Big Me and books. It's like, they just rant and rave. Like, oh, if Amazon's causing any kind of issues, just go to Kobo. They never talk about the Nook at all. It's like Barnes & Noble does not exist unless they're doing content where they're going inside of a bookstore. Now, there are a lot of people that have Nooks, and when Barnes & Noble discontinued support for their older models, the same thing that Amazon's doing, I did not see any videos out there with people getting all upset about it. They didn't cry about it. They didn't bitch about it. They just went and bought a device, because this is the thing about these particular devices. They're not super expensive. They're not $215 or $284. Now, I would not say that about my reading tablet, but for a basic Nook, a Nook that all it does is read books, you know, it's great. It's a great device. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I had to remove a couple stickers from here because, yeah. So, first of all, for people that have never seen a Nook in their entire natural existence, this is the Nook. The power button is up here. Now, the Glowlight 4 Plus, the power button is right here. It's not down here. I know everybody that has a Kindle complains about that. But it's up here. It has page turn buttons, which people miss, and it has no ads. Barnes & Noble does not put ads on their devices, so that is another thing that makes Nooks better in the age price department, because if you have a Barnes & Noble membership, you're spending about $139 for this device, and that is if you decide not to get a warranty on it. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Alright, so I had to mentally count the time. So when I got this device a month before my birthday, it arrived exactly a month before my birthday, I was absolutely enthralled by this device. I still have the box that it came in, and it's like the size of my hand. It's really nice. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at work at 7, so tomorrow I'm hoping that the Amazon driver will appear before that. But, alright. So, as I said, unlike Amazon, they're not trying to sell you anything. These are books based on your what you have read. Like, if you've read a series, then they show you, hey, here's the next book in the series, and all that wonderful stuff. It's not designed to sell you a ton of books. You can't scroll this up and down and see more books. That just happened. So what I really like about this device is that if I want to break from Amazon and I just want to read a book on my Kindle, not a Kindle, sorry, my Nook, I can read. So I actually have So what I've been doing is I've been reading through my TBR. So this is these three books here. To the back, these two books here on either side of that one book in the middle. Those are books that I am currently reading. So when I'm done with this book, this is the next book I'm reading, but I'm going to go into the library and I'm going to either get a free book or I'm going to acquire a book from my library I already have. This device is very different than Kindle. They're not trying to get you to buy stuff, buy books that you don't want to read. They just tell you, hey, if you're, about 90% of the time when they show you the book, it's always going to be the next book in the series. So if you're kind of wondering what's the next book in the series, Barnes & Noble generally will tell you so you can make that informative decision. So I pressed library, and here are some of the books I've got on here. You can use the page turn buttons to move. This is very, this is very snappy. Very snappy. This is actually the second, so like I'm not counting my reading tablet, which I don't count as a Nook. They count as a Nook because they sell it as a Nook. But this is my second, this is my third Kindle. My first Kindle has long since been, retired. It's been retired. So the same thing that Barnes & Noble started, the same thing that Amazon's doing on the 20th, Barnes & Noble already did it with their older models. So I don't even know how far back it went. Another thing I like about this Nook is that it's very light. It's very easy on my wrist. You can annotate on it, though I really advise you to like highlight a word and then you can follow through and highlight that whole thing. And then just like with Kindles, they allow you to type in your comment about what you've read. Just like with Kindles, Nooks allow you to leave a review that will appear on the website, and if people are interested in the book, they can read your review of it and decide if, hey, does this person really know like what they're talking about and all that. Another thing that makes Nooks different than Kindles is that we don't see like anything like Kindle Limited or Kobo Plus. They offer daily deals. They have if you go on their store, you will have a daily deal, or the company will highlight a certain author that you can get their books. Another thing that I like about the Nook is that it is not connected to Kindle in any way, shape, or form. Don't get me wrong, I love my Kindles, I do, but if I want to take a break from reading on my Kindle and I just want to read on my Nook, I can do that, which is why I like having them on those three platforms. So right here you have the little N here, and you can press that and it'll get you right back to your home page. But like with the Kobo, the home page is not there to sell you books. It's there to show you what books you already have to a certain point, and then you can look at like, oh wow, here's recommended for you and all that. So the books that they're recommending me is actually based on books that I have read. I cannot, hold on a second, let me put the conspiracy in something, Painted Black, and One Corpse Too Many. Ugh. So yeah. Just like with the Kindle Basic, this is not waterproof. I remember trying to use it in like 15-degree temperature, and it froze on me, and I was like, nah, I don't think I can read it out here in this cold. But I had to force it to essentially shut down, and then I restarted it, and it worked. So this was $139. I did not put a 2-year warranty on it. I just didn't have the money. Um, I do like this case though. However, when I'm using it like this, and it actually hurts my wrist. So that's why I'm getting the clear case, so I can just hold it like this and read from it. This particular model, not talking about the this one right here, has been around for about 5, maybe 6 years. I don't even know what month this came out. It is portable. It's wonderful to throw in your bag and take wherever you're going. Now, one of the biggest complaints that people have about the Nooks is that they're not international, that you cannot read your books if you buy them in the United States. That is not actually true. One of the things that a lot of people advise people, I don't care if you have a Kindle, a Kobo, or a Nook, is to download the books that you want to read, and once they're downloaded, you can read them anywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're offline. You download them, which means they're accessible offline, and you don't have to worry about it. So if I was going on a trip, I would definitely pretty much download all the books that I had, and then I would just pick a book and I would just read it. I do like this device mainly because it is not overpriced or overhyped. Barnes & Noble is not trying to sell you this wondrous device. This just does one thing, and one thing very, very good, and that is it reads books. Now, you cannot listen to audiobooks on here. It's impossible. You can't. This has, I believe, 32 megabytes of storage. I know it's over 30. And so you can hold thousands and thousands of books. But what I do is, when I'm done with a book, I just go and send it over to my shelves, so that way it's off my device, and I just have the books on here that I've not yet read. This is a really great value if you are trying to get away from the Amazon ecosystem and you just want something nice and simple. One of the downsides, and this is probably the only downside that other people have, but I don't have. A lot of your very popular indie authors, especially if they do KU, is not on here, and that's because Amazon has an exclusivity, or how to pronounce it, clause with authors that if you do KU, you cannot publish your books another way, with any other place. Now, I'm pretty sure that does not apply if you don't put your books on KU. They got some pretty weird free books on here. With questionable covers. But if you want best-selling authors, if you want New York Times best-selling authors, like Stephen King, and like your dark romantasy authors that are traditionally published, they will definitely be on here. This is a great little device. It fits in all the bags. It is just wonderful to have if you really don't want something heavy that's like weighing down your wrist. I love it, just like I love my Nook Glowlight 4 Plus. My Nook Glowlight 4 Plus I use it heavily on my manga. Oh yeah, by the way, see, this is one of, I think, 5 wallpapers. But you do is you just press that, and it's back. I know some people complain about that. I don't. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love this device. Then they have access to the store, just like with Kindles, just like with Kobos. You have access to it. So here's they call it Free Reading Weekend right here. That's the book that is free. And then you can just swipe. It's not letting me. Oh, here it is. And then it says here, this is. Oh yeah, this is $1.99. So this is a Nook daily find, which is really cool. So you can tap that. This is Blackwater Sister. Really cool. I really like this cover. It's really nice. None of these are in color. Barnes & Noble does not have a e-reader that's in color. Now, if you want a reader that is in color, they have the Nook reading tablet, or known as Lenovo tablet, and that is because Barnes & Noble teamed up with Lenovo to release a reading tablet that's in color, which means you can do all the stuff you do on a tablet. You can read comic books and all that. Then you have Head of the Trend, ebooks under $10. Arts and crafts, you got fitness and strength. Spotlight, Illinois James. So we're going to just tap that. And these are all of her books that Barnes & Noble highlights. And then, if you want to, you have your genres here. Now, these are my hand-picked genres. These are the ones that I use. So let's see here. Let's see, horror. And, of course, they've got my favorite author. They got Sundial, see all titles. And, of course, you have your Stephen King, who will always be front and center. This is such a joy. Really weirdly enough, a lot of these books are Stephen King. And then you can use the buttons to scroll down, which is really quick. I absolutely love it. And then, if you want to, you can press the button, and it goes back to your screen. So, yes, I am totally in love with my Nook. I actually am reading a book right now here. I've got, I believe, 11 more chapters to go. I'm reading one chapter a day, and then when I'm done with the book, then I will kind of I'll just keep it there, and then when I'm finally done with the entire set, then it will be archived. But I will tell you, for the price that you spend on this, which is uniform through most of the Nook devices, your Nook Glowlight 4 Plus was $149, your Nook Glowlight 4 is $149. Really, my impression about Barnes & Noble is that they want to get a book in your hand. That is why they exist. I think that's why they exist. Um, and I think that a lot of people, they look at Barnes & Noble a lot differently than, say, maybe their parents did. When Barnes & Noble was, like, pushing out all these, like, independent booksellers, and then all of a sudden this bigger monster shows up and tries to devour Barnes & Noble. And I think Barnes & Noble is literally the only thing keeping Amazon from fully being broken up. Because if you go and kill off another major, the last major bookstore in America, and yeah, I know Books A Million is it's a good size, but Barnes & Noble is literally a large bookstore that they care more about the books than about anything else. You know, you can go to a Barnes & Noble and buy physical media. You can go in there and get movies, physical movies. You don't have to pay shipping and handling or none of that stuff. So yeah, it is so much better, so much better. So if you're definitely interested in going with an e-reader that is part of a company that, first of all, is not trying to sell you a membership, I would definitely go with Barnes & Noble. My Nook is, I really love it. If I had a choice, I would definitely take my Nook. If I was going down to Florida, if I was going to California, or going to Utah, or any places. Yes, I do love my Kindles, but my Nook is so cute and so wonderful that I just love it too. So I love all my e-readers. I love all my e-readers. This one I will keep on using. Even if they discontinued them, I would still use them until I would run out of books. And yeah, I mean, I would be also really honest, guys. Another reason that I like Barnes & Noble is they're not bringing out an e-reader like every single year or every 2 years. I know several months back they brought out the new Nook reading tablet, which is smaller. I did not buy that because I already have a good enough e-reader. Sorry, I already have a good enough reading tablet. So that's not, I don't need one. I don't need one. But if I went to Barnes & Noble, this is what I would have in my bag. This is what I would have in my bag because I just love it so much. And it is just such a great little device. And, you know, it doesn't break your bank. It doesn't, doesn't take your money and run with it. And also you can go to your local Barnes & Noble and you can actually buy the device right there in the store. You don't have to pay shipping and handling. You don't have to wait for the magical Amazon driver to show up. You can hook it up to your phone's mobile hotspot. You can do all that stuff right there in the store, and you can get a latte or a chai or whatever, and you can sit there and you can read your books on your Nook. Anyways, so on this device, my goal is to get my books down to nothing. I said to myself, when I get my books, there it is again. When I get my books on here down to like 90, I will purchase another book. I have not yet heard anybody talk about Barnes & Noble taking books off their devices. But I am going to be honest. I love this device. This is... but this will be so much better when I get the clear case. Because, in all honesty, this sleep case, it does not put your... It does not do that. At all. It does not put your reader to sleep. Now, I will say one thing about this device is that it doesn't really have a excellent battery. It doesn't. However, for me, as long as I got electricity flowing, I'm fine. It's not a big deal. Um, I also like it, just like with Kindle. Like, I'm going to open this book up here. So, alright. So, here's this is a book I'm reading. Murder in the Library. They have little thing. And down here, this is why I can't wait to get a clear case. Right down here, 28 minutes, 12 seconds left in the chapter. And then you can press it. And it says 6 hours, 20 minutes in the book. Then you can go blind. They have page 17 of 180. And we're back to that. And then you press the top, and your menu pops up. You press this. But yeah, so this device is very simple. It's very simple for to use. Also, Barnes and Noble, they do not try to entice you with new stuff, no. Their e-readers do one thing and one thing only. Very well, and that is read books. Read books. Enjoy books. Barnes and Noble, as a company, is very different than Amazon, especially under Dalton. When you walk into a Barnes and Noble, you feel like the people there actually want to be there. And yeah, there's videos like, oh, does anyone remember the Nook? And I made a comment. I said, she sounds like Nooks just vanished. Like, there's no more Nooks in the entire universe. There's no more Nooks. It's like, oh, why would somebody want to buy a e-reader from a physical bookstore? Why is that any of your business? I mean, they just she just acted like people wanting to buy an e-reader from a store that sells books was a weird concept. And somebody down below said, was she paid by Amazon to say that? Don't know. She probably was. But Nooks are so good. I love my Nook. My Nook is light. I can read it for hours. I have no problem reading in this room. And yes, my favorite authors, my New York Times best-selling authors that, I mean, yeah, you can't read Dungeon Crawling Carl on here. You have to, but they sell the physical book of Dungeon Crawling Carl. I just love it. And, it's portable. It's fun to read. The color is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to have this device for a very, very long time. And, if they do bring out another Nook Glowlight, I'm not buying it. I have this. But I know a lot of people are avid Nook girlies. They love their Nooks to death. You mean literally, you're going to have to bury me with my Nook kind of people. And they just don't imagine going with Amazon or going with Kobo. Because Barnes & Noble's Nook is the #2 e-reader. And yeah, we don't really get a lot of people on YouTube that really talk about Nooks. They talk about Kindles. They talk about Kobos. They don't really talk about Nooks. Anyways, I am going to get off here because now that my Nook is open and on, I'm going to have to read. But yeah. So this is my 6-month review of it. I'm not repeating. I really don't want to repeat the same thing that a lot of people repeat. I just want to give you my honest, I've used this device. I really believe it's a great device. It's not waterproof, but I don't live near the ocean, so that's not a thing. I don't read in my bathtub, so it's not really an issue at all. So anyways, I am super excited about getting my clear case for it, because then I will be able to read much more comfortably and everything. So, yeah. Oh, note about that case. I actually thought it was actually going to put my Nook to sleep, and it didn't. All right. Sorry. Oh, heartburn. So, anyways, that's my video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.